Okay, ready?
Yeah.
What did you do? Nothing.
Make a political statement.
Right, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
We're Jack, Joe, and Stan, and we are Goldsmiths BA design students that have been kicked out of our studios and workshop from coronavirus.
Pretty devastated.
Our plan is to build a studio in Joe's and my living room, and so that's what these series of videos that we're going to be making will be about.
There's lots of footage of us getting materials prepared, bringing them from the studio when we were told to basically clear out all of our worldly possessions from there.
We basically stole
A lot of materials, yeah. This first episode is going to be about stealing these two big boards. As what we're going to do with them is we're going to, as you can see behind us, we've made a wall and we're going to use it for storage, so we can just drill big screws into these boards without damaging our rented property's walls, and hang tools and other bits for just nice flat storage. So this first episode is about getting these boards back from the studio, which was tough, and then building them in this tiny living room, which is only a bit bigger than them.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy watching.
So to get the boards back from the studio, which is about probably a 2-mile walk, we made a big contraption to take them back on my bike. We drilled little holes out of the boards to mount them onto the handlebars, and then sort of build a box out of the boards and some cross beams, so that in the end Jack and I could push it all the way through Brockley and back up to Ladywell, up and down hills.
How long did it take you?
I don't know. I can't,
45
probably
minutes.
45 minutes.
To an hour. Had some nice conversations with some people.
Yeah.
Some people can understand when art students are kicked out of their studio.
And even though it was like a wrestle the whole way there, it should usually take about 15 to 20 minutes to make that walk. But we took lots of breaks and slowly brought it back.
So in order to make the board stand up and remain vertical, we had to think about a frame possibly to put on the back, but we didn't have the wood for that. We only managed to take the flat boards back.
The actual MDF.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, technical term. It's wood.
We'll put a glossary at the end of this video.
Yeah, just for those that don't know, we set off yesterday morning quite early to
Haworth Timber, shout out.
Yeah.
We realised that we'd need quite a lot of construction timber, and we just went for the cheapest, damp in the back of the yard lengths of sort of this stuff.
Yeah.
Untreated.
I think we got 30 metres for 20 quid or something. And so Joe and I had to cart that back on the bike as well.
Keep going. You can do it. Yeah, so the bike's seen a lot of I'm not going to say wood action. The bike's worked harder than all of us, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The past few days.
That is true. We got all of the wood home and we had to clear what was the living room that we're now sat in. We had a big sofa and a big armchair, coffee table and loads of crap in here. And we put that all in the garden for now, so that we'd have just about enough room to lay out the boards on the floor and then start to loose fit a frame out of all this wood that we've got on top of it. We could then flip the whole thing over with the boards on it and just put a load of countersunk screws through, keep it all together, so that we'd have this big sturdy set of boards in order to hang tools from or whatever we want, really.
Occasionally we sometimes will make things that involve using a lot of wood or sometimes metal as well. So even though a lot of those things will be restricted now, we can do sort of little experiments, and then I think mostly like prototype things to then use them out in the world in whatever kind of things we're doing.
Yeah, I think the point of building this space for ourselves is to try and keep some of the momentum of being in a space like the studios where we could have an idea of something to make really quickly and just do it.
Even if we don't end up using all the things we might cater for here, it's good to have this as a space that we can just mess about with things in and just like make a mess and like we could in the studio, and not be too contrived or a bit anxious about using these things in our own sort of bedroom spaces or whatever. Also, we'd like to add, if people from our cohort wish to use some of the facilities that we're going to build in here, if you need to build any quick kind of physical mock-ups of things, ask us.
Yeah, if you've got an idea for a making project that you have the materials for, but you don't have the space or the tools, if you need to use a workshop-ish space for an afternoon, then get in touch with one of us three and we can try and work it out. So yeah, this is the first sort of episode of us building the studio. We're kind of documenting it just because it's fun to build a space like this. It's quite a good point of motivation immediately after being quite drastically affected by what's been going on. It's quite nice to have something to really dive into. Even if we end up not using the workshop part of it that much, it's just good to have something really hands-on to do.
Optimistically as well, like I think though we've lost a lot of things from having the studio space and the workshop facilities that we did have, I think we're generally trying to now see the optimistic side, and that this whole thing has taught us a lot about how, as practicing designers, which we will be when we do inevitably leave the university space, like we have the abilities and the resources to do things like this and to outsource our work, which is what we're going to have to increasingly do for our practices.
Got a bit of a head start.
Head start, yeah.
Yeah, on that, everyone stay happy, stay healthy, and be good neighbours. Try and help people out. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Help people out in your local community if you can, if you get a chance.
See you next time.
And we're on a boat. Whoa!
Oh no! I thought it was a spaceship.
Wait, how do you?
I just sat in the studio. Nice chat.
Oh
yeah, we were.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Why is that so sad? See you later, guys.